I am now a junior at UNCG, but I come back on Sunday mornings to be a life group leader for the high school girls. I try to come back on Wednesdays, so some of y'all might recognize me, but some of y'all might not. I'm here to talk to y'all about a trip that I went on last week. I went through UNCG with a couple of other students. There were 16 of us. We went to Atlanta, Georgia. And the theme was human trafficking. So we weren't really sure what that meant, what we were going to be doing. We just knew we wanted to do some type of service, and we wanted to learn more about human trafficking. So the video that y'all just saw was through Wellspring Living, which is a group in Atlanta that they work with and help domestic minors that have been through trafficking, different types of abuse and things like that. And they help the survivors to learn new life skills and how to cope with what's happened in their past. Because a lot of these people that have been through these traumatic experiences can't enter back into the world just like that. They have to have time, they have to have a couple of years of therapy, people loving on them, encouraging them, and like she said, they looked at her differently, they loved her, and they helped her. And so that's what this organization does. And we didn't get to work directly with the girls, but one of the employees gave us an information session. And so that's what I'm here to share with y'all, mostly just the information, the facts that I learned, things like that, and then if we have time to kind of touch on my experiences personally while I was there. So to define human trafficking, it's the recruitment, the harboring, the transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for the purpose of a commercial slavery act, where such an act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion. So that has a lot of big words in it. Some of them I don't even know personally. But what that means is they take someone and force them to do something they don't want to do. Whether it's they don't have another choice, it's for they won't live without doing this, they've been taken somewhere where they can't get away. There's lots of different ways that they can be forced to do these things. And so that's the definition of human trafficking. And domestic minor human trafficking is what I was mostly talked to about, which means that these are girls and boys that are under the age of 18, so that are y'all's age, and that are in the United States. So this is a global issue, it definitely is a global issue. But the organization I worked with takes girls that have been born in the United States and that have been abused in the United States. So it's not something that's just overseas. It's very much here in our backyards. And even though Atlanta is 6 hours away, that's still, that's pretty close. It's something we can do something about. And it's in our backyard as well. So some facts to give y'all is the average age of a child when they're first used for human trafficking is 14. That's middle school. That's taking away their childhood, their teenage years, all of those things. Once a child enters into the trade, they're only estimated to live another 7 years. So if someone first enters when they're 14, they're only going to live to be 21. They're only going to live to be as old as I am on average. And that's due to many different things. That's due to abuse that they're given, that they receive while they're there. That's due to, neglect, lack of food, lack of whatever it is. If you're being trafficked, if someone has kidnapped you, has taken you against your will, they're not going to take you to a hospital because you're going to be found out, you're going to have to be connected back to your parents, they're going to get in trouble. So if something happens to you, they try to fix it themselves, or they say, too bad, go fix it yourself and leave you alone. And you don't have a chance of survival that way. There are currently 100,000 children in the United States that are being trafficked today. So that's, if you take Graham, if you take where we are, you take that entire population and multiply it by 7, that's how many children there are. Not just the population of children, but the population of adults as well. That's a lot of people just in the United States. And although trafficking affects boys also, it predominantly affects girls. And the given statistic is that 1 in every 4 girls has been abused by the time they turn 18. So it's not just women, it's not just girls. But a lot of what I talked about references to girls, but no, that can apply to boys as well. So I've already defined human trafficking. Okay. So one of the big things that people ask is, how did girls get caught in this? How did they end up where they are when they're being trafficked? And one of the main things is girls are scouted out, boys as well. But there are lots of ways this can happen. The number one thing is social circles. So the person that's scouting someone, that's trying to find someone that they can enslave, they're going to go to their neighborhoods. They're going to go to the people they know. They're going to go to the main places they go, whether it's the grocery store, wherever it is, and try to find someone that they can take by force or that they can talk into believing that they'll have a better life with them. So thinking, well, my parents, have all these rules for me. I can't have my cell phone after these hours, or I can't go here when I want to. So they'll talk to them, they'll get to know them, and they'll say, well, if you come and live with me, you can do what you want to. I'll give you your own cell phone. You won't have a curfew. Those sorts of things. And it also happens over the internet through chat rooms. The same type of thing where they say, they get to know someone, they say, my life is so hard, this, that, and they'll use those things to say, well, I'll give you a better life, I'll give you a better this, I'll give you a better that. And just kind of gaining their trust to the point where they can say, okay, well, will you meet me here, do this. And they think, these girls will think that either, okay, I'll meet him and I'll be fine, and then I'll go back home, and they're taken, they don't have a choice. Or they'll meet them and think, okay, well, this sounds great, he's a really great guy, I'll go with him, and run away from home. And that runaways are huge targets as well. Even people who run away on their own, they don't talk to anyone else, they, for whatever reason, run away, like the girl in the video. She ran away, she thought, okay, I'll be on my own, I'll be fine, I'll make my own way, I'll be okay. But these scouters will notice girls. They'll see them and see someone that looks lonely, someone that looks lost, someone that's scared, someone that's crying. And they'll go up to them and, okay, well, I can help you. I'll be your friend. I'll do what you need. You can't do this on your own. I'll be here for you. And they'll offer them food, or they'll offer them a place to stay, or nice clothes, or to get their hair done. And a lot of these girls believe that these men love them, that these are their boyfriends, that they're doing what's best for them, because they tell them that they are. They say, I love you, I'll take care of you. I'll do what I can. I'll give you things your parents would never give you. And so the girls eventually start experiencing abuse, whether it's verbal abuse, whatever type of abuse it is. But they have that connection so much, and they've been so isolated that they think, this is what love is. This is what love is. And we know through the Bible that's not what love is, and we know that. But many, many girls don't know that. And so that's how they become enslaved and kind of trapped where they are. And some girls are taken, and they're taken and put into a car, and they're driven 5, 6, 7 hours. They don't know where they are. Even if they had the opportunity to escape, where are they going to go? They have no idea what's around them. They have no access to a phone. They have no money. They have no friends or family around them. They have no choice. And so in some cases, they'll tell the girls that they owe them money, or the classic, like I said, if you love me, then you will do this, this, or this. And no two situations are the same. But manipulation of some sort is always used, whether it's the love tactic, or the force tactic, or the you owe me tactic. And so then the girls are trapped. Lots of the girls do have the ability to leave, but like I said, they don't know where to go, or they think this is all that I'm good for, or they think no one will want me when they know what's happened to me, when they know where I've been, when they know that I've run away. They'll be mad. They don't want to see me. If they wanted me, they would come and look for me. And a lot of times parents are looking, they're searching, they're doing what they can, but they can't find these girls or these boys because the person that has taken them knows what they're doing. They're smart, they know what they're doing, and they're going to take them somewhere where they can't be found. And so something that I found really crazy and hard to believe while I was working at Wellspring is that many of the girls, while they're there, they're in a safe place, they're somewhere where they're given food, where they're not in danger, and they'll try to escape. They'll pull the fire alarm, they'll do whatever they can to try to escape and to get away. Luckily they have safety precautions, so they aren't able to get out. They have fences and all those sorts of things. But when they're asked, where are you trying to go? Why are you escaping? Why are you running away? They say, I'm going back to my boyfriend. Or I'm going back to, as that girl referred to him as, daddy. I'm going back to where I have freedom. I'm going back to where I can do what I want. And they don't realize that they're victims. Because in their mind, they have freedom, they're doing what they want to. They may have to pay a price for it, but that's okay. Because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what I'm good for. That's what they want me to do. That's what love is. So that was just something that's really hard for me to wrap my mind around, to understand. Because you think about it and you think, I know this is wrong. I wouldn't be there. If I could get away, I would, and I would never go back. But after years or months or whatever it is of this abuse and of this relationship that they're in, they think that's normal, they think that's what they're supposed to be doing, and that's where they want to be. So these men start selling girls because people want to buy them. They start selling them into the slave trade, or selling them to do work for them, or whatever it is, because people want to buy them, and they can make a ton of money off of it. On average, they'll make $32,000 a week in cash. That's some people's annual salary. That's what some people make in a year. And they can make this in a week in cash by selling people. So why, in their minds, they think, why would you not? Why would I not do this? And that's just in cash. That doesn't include, any other type of payment that people use, whether it's trading drugs for these girls or whatever you're trading for it. So that's a lot of money. A lot of people would do whatever they could to get that type of money. And if there wasn't a demand, then there wouldn't be a reason to sell them. And so if there weren't people wanting to buy them, if there weren't people wanting to buy these services, then why you wouldn't sell them. So that's one big thing, is not only stopping and persecuting the people that are selling, but also to say it's not okay to buy this, it's not okay to buy this, to do this, and to have this happening. So we talked about a few different things that we could do. The women at Wellspring told us things that we could do. And the first one is to recognize that this is happening in your backyards. I don't know if y'all know, but in October of last year, there were 2 people in Graham that were arrested for human trafficking, for bringing a girl from Florida to here, and enslaving her, keeping her against her will, and trafficking her. And that's just one of the cases that I found when I first Googled it. There's plenty of other cases, there's plenty of other things in Graham alone that are happening. There was a nail salon in the past couple of years, I think, that they raided and found that the women were being held there against their will. They were being forced to work because the people that owned the salon didn't want to pay for people to work there, but they wanted to have the money coming in. So to recognize that it's in your backyard is admitting that it's something that's been here. It's been here for a long time, like Brian said, back in the days with Lincoln. It may have didn't look different, slavery definitely looked different, but it's still here, and we're ignoring it, and we're not talking about it. So if we continue doing that, then nothing's going to change. And admitting that it's here also means being aware of the dangers. I'm not saying that y'all are going to enter into that, anything's going to happen to you or anything like that. But many of you are 14. Many of you are that age that happens to these girls and to these boys. And so just be really careful of who you talk to when you're online. Whether you know make sure you know the people that you're talking to. And when strangers approach you, these are things that your parents tell you when you're little, and you know that. But now you know, real life dangers of what could happen when you are doing these things. So, yeah, be careful who you talk to online. Be careful when strangers approach you, and always be cautious of your surroundings. A lot of times it's things that you don't realize. If something makes you feel strange or makes you feel uncomfortable, recognize that. Don't say, well, I'm just being paranoid or whatever it is. Recognize that and do something about it. The second thing is to tell people what you've learned. So tell people that this is a real thing. This is happening here. This is happening now. This is happening to people your age. And that it could be happening to people that you know and you don't even know it. But tell people about this. Because I'm sure some of y'all didn't know this was a problem when you came in here today. And I'm sure many of your friends don't know this is a problem either. And so it'll raise awareness, but it could also save someone you know from something happening to them. From them being taken advantage of. And thirdly, just be alert. If you see anything that looks suspicious, like I said, or that makes you feel strange or uncomfortable, tell an adult. Don't try to approach it on your own. Even I wouldn't try to approach a situation like this on my own. Because not only could I get myself in trouble and I don't know what's happening, but the person that's enslaved, the person that's holding them captive, if they realize someone knows, someone thinks something's suspicious, someone's going to do something about this, it could end very badly for the person that they're keeping there. And so that's just a lot of the basic information that we learned. And I tried to kind of sum it up for y'all to not just bombard you with facts, because that's kind of hard to listen to sometimes. But so while I was there, I didn't get to work with the girls, but I got to do a lot of helping them and just working around the organization and doing things like that. But I also worked with a church that ministers to people that are homeless. And got to talk to some of them. And we asked them, you know, said, we're here to learn about human trafficking. Does that have any relationship to being homeless? Like, do y'all see any relationship between those two? And they said, well, yeah, like, you know, we see people who think that they're going to get a job, that have been approached and said, okay, well, I'll pay you to come do this if you move 2 states away, or whatever it is. You're like, I'm willing to pay you, I need someone. And thinking, okay, I'm going to get a job, this is great. And then they'll never hear from them again. And there's stories like that that happen where people are promised a job, they'll move somewhere, and when they get there, it's not a job. They are forced to stay there, they have no way to leave. And that's just another way that, I don't know, that can happen. There's a lot of very interesting stories. And if anyone wants to hear anything else about it, or to ask me more about it, y'all are more than welcome to. I know it's kind of